Hi Borja,
Hi, Bram.
good to have you here.
Really, really happy to be here with you.
How has the kickoff week been so far?
Very, very intense. It's been a wonderful week, and well, it has some secondary effects, such as you can notice by my voice. But it's been a wonderful week. Lots of bonding, lots of learning, lots of doing. It's been an amazing week.
You know, some people find it very attractive to have a lower voice, so it's good at the end of the week.
Yes, it has that good part too. Yes.
Super. Well, great to have you here. Today at Chili Pulse, we're talking about actionable insights on CHILI GraFx, and today we're talking about single sign-on. But before we go into that, maybe how was your journey so far with Chili Publish? You've been here for a while already?
I have been around here for 1 year and a half. And I began as the guy who knows about usernames and password and that kind of stuff. And that evolved into getting more responsibilities, getting closer to product vision definition, closer to the product leadership team, etc. And well, during this 1 year and a half, we have been doing some cool stuff regarding usernames and passwords and identity management.
With the launch of CHILI GraFx, the identity management is an important topic to cover. So it's worth having a full-time person overlooking it.
Yes, and I mean, I had a huge amount of fun with this because we are moving from having a huge amount of small silos of identities in every environment, in every single customer, in every single place, and we are moving to one centralized place for identity management. Let's make it short. The idea is we are trying to have, instead of 100 different versions of your user in 100 different places, there is one single version of your user, so it's easier to manage for us, for our customers, etc. But that means we have to preserve the privileges and the roles and the permissions of those users in every single one of those 100 places without making things explode. And
that would be good if it doesn't explode.
Yes, there's always that small detail of not making things
Bit of
explode.
smoke is okay, but... Great, Borja. You've been involved in identity management on different levels. But there's a few terms maybe that we need to enlighten on. I heard identity management, single sign-on. I even heard silent sign-on. So maybe establish a bit of a context.
So identity management is about having the right permissions on the right people at the right moment. It's about companies being able to enroll a new employee or a freelancer or whatever, and the moment this person gets into the company, this person has the right permissions to get into, in our case, CHILI GraFx. And the moment this person is no longer linked to the company, this person stops having access to that without the hassle of, let's take a look at 100 different places and did he have an account here?
Yeah.
So that's identity management. For single sign-on, the idea is you have a huge amount of applications and you can access all of them just providing your credentials, username, password, token, SMS, whatever, only once. Yeah. You do that once, you have access to all of the applications. And that silent SSO, that's very relevant when you want to have a, I would say, seamless experience for the user. The thing is, the best tools you can imagine are those tools you are not focused on when you are doing something. I mean, that's something that I heard about the Mac computers. When you are at a task working with a Mac, the Mac disappears and you can focus on what you are doing. The idea of single sign-on is exactly the same. It's not about getting the username and the password of the user every single time because that's so secure. It's about, okay, I want you to be able to work. I want to do everything in the background so you do not have to be bothered. So when a user comes to the platform, the first check we do is, do you have a session with us? No? Okay, no problem. Do you have a session in your company that we can use here so we are not bothering you? Oh, yes. Okay, the user has already logged into the company computer or some corporate applications. And just with that, providing username and password or whatever the company requires once, that person will be able to get into CHILI GraFx as one more component of the toolset that the company provides.
So to summarize, the identity management, make sure that we recognize the person. Single sign-on means you can sign on once and then be able to use all applications. And then basically sign and sign on is something behind the scenes that makes it seamless.
Yes.
But you talked about also connecting to the enterprise user management. So that means that our system can communicate with an external system.
Yes.
So that is even better then.
Yes, we have, I would say, two different levels of single sign-on here. One is within all of the components, all of the applications of the platform. You log into CHILI GraFx platform, into the CHILI GraFx platform, and you will be able to access Publisher, you will be able to access Studio, you will be able to access every single application within the platform, including, for example, the Academy. It's part of the platform. You have access to that with one single sign-on. And so for some of our customers, that's enough, and they want to manage their CHILI GraFx users in CHILI GraFx. We provide the ability to do that. We provide the ability to do that without any issue. Some companies say, oh, I do not want to manage my users there. I want to manage my users here because I already have my procedures, I already have my compliance requirements I must abide to, etc. That means, okay, from the point of view of the tool, it's exactly the same if you want to do it locally or you want to do it on your own. We are providing the same interfaces, especially for those customers who are taking the step of, okay, I want to integrate CHILI GraFx as part of my toolset for my employees. So they will have the same interface, they will have the same look and feel. The only change for them will be that users will not need to remember a different password. They will not need to have another credential, and they will not be prompted for credentials one more time.
So I heard a few roles, or imagine that I'm an end user at an agency. That would mean I can log in only once, even in my company system, and that would mean that I'm logged into any other application that is linked to, in this case, CHILI GraFx.
Yes.
Now imagine that I am a CISO, IT manager, security manager. What is my benefit of having like a single sign-on, or even and introduce a new word, federated single sign-on? Because federated is when you have it connected to the other enterprise. Yes. What is the benefit for me having that in place for platforms that we use?
As in most cases with security functionalities and with security features, you have two different kinds of benefits. One is related to security, and the other one is related to operations optimization. The idea of the operations optimization is if the user remembers one password less, the user will forget one password less. That means they will have less issues.
There's less pressure on support of the enterprise.
Yes, that's it. So from the operations point of view, it simplifies operations. From the security point of view, you have also a couple of different benefits. One is related to it's more secure to have a good place to make a good login whatever this means for the company. Username, password, once again, having a phone call that makes sure you are holding your telephone, Google Authenticator, I don't mind. Whatever your company has decided that that's the right way to authenticate, you will do exactly that.
So the level of complexity of authentication is managed or governed by the enterprise.
That's it. So as a CISO, I am extremely happy because, this new component of my corporate toolset is part of the already discussed and already accepted authentication process. And there is the last part is the compliance. For CISOs, etc., compliance is extremely relevant. That means, for example, I need to prove that when a user leaves the company, this person stops having access to the assets of the company. If the users of CHILI GraFx are managed in CHILI GraFx, I have to take a look there. If those users are managed in the same place we're managing all of the rest of the things, I am already doing that.
Yeah. You talked about when the enterprise decides to end a contract. So like it's basically the user lifecycle management. Does it also help to have a federated single sign-on in place?
Absolutely. It's when you are federated, when you have a federated single sign-on relationship, so to speak, with CHILI GraFx, the procedures you're having in your company for onboarding, offboarding, permission management, role modification, auditing of the privileges of the users, revalidation of those privileges, etc. All of those processes are already in place in your company. If you have to do that. If you can plug into those processes the new tools, it's way easier for you to make sure you are still compliant day after day than if you have one new mushroom growing in the dark and you have to take a look at it and take care of it and make sure it's also fine.
I'm now imagining mushrooms in a dark server room, but that's not what you mean, I guess. It's a more figure of speech.
I think also about mushrooms in dark places.
Okay, but that's maybe for another time that we can discuss.
That Indeed. Was a different moment.
So when I was summarize, it would be about when you enroll in an enterprise, you basically get access whenever the company decides you have access, and at the end of the contract, when the CISO needs to be compliant and you terminate, you're terminated. Sorry for that. But then indeed the role ends and it also applies to all the linked applications.
Yes, that's it.
Super. So basically to summarize, it's about ease of use, it's security, it's ease of operations.
Yes.
Yeah.
And one important thing about all this is the view of the user. The user stops seeing CHILI GraFx as something different from the rest of the tools. If this person is managing some media, some fonts, some assets with other tools that his company provides, he will be using exactly the same elements within GraFx. So it totally integrates with the way the company manages assets.
Super. So next to operational ease of use, security, it's also the user experience that is way better. Thank you, Borja. I learned a thing or two about it, but as a bit of a tech nerd, of course, I'm involved. But hearing your voice, I'll thank you so much. It was great to have you here, and I'll let you go now after this very busy week and have the throat, give it a bit of rest.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Have some rest.
Hope to see you next time, and hope to hear you soon as well. If you liked this episode and you want to get engaged or you have tips for improvements or changes, please let us know at pulse@chilipublish.com. Also, if you want to be informed of next episodes, please subscribe to the newsletter on the form below.